Okay, so we're taking a deep dive today with Jürgen Moltmann and this idea of a cosmic Christ. Have you ever heard of this?
I have. It's a really fascinating concept, and he doesn't make it easy.
Yeah.
He's not writing for like a general audience.
No.
This is dense theological reading.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because, I think a lot of times in sort of like popular Christianity today,
Right.
there's almost this sense of like we're kind of the center of the story,
Yeah.
you know?
Yes. Very anthropocentric.
Yes, very anthropocentric.
Like it's all about us.
Yeah, like how can I be saved? What happens to me after I die? And like
Yeah.
this whole idea of like a cosmic drama is kind of,
Right.
it's not really something that,
Yeah. You don't often hear about it on Sunday morning.
yeah, you don't hear about it very often at all. And so Moltmann is really
Challenging us to think more broadly.
challenging that, yeah, and saying like, no, actually, like this is way bigger.
Way bigger
And you even imagine. So
than we even thought it was.
what is this cosmic Christology all about then?
So essentially, Moltmann is arguing that Christ's influence, Christ's work, isn't just limited to humanity and our salvation,
Okay.
but it actually extends to the entire cosmos, to all of creation.
The entire cosmos.
The whole shebang.
Wow. Okay, so like even the things that we would consider to be like inanimate or,
Yeah.
like not even alive.
Everything caught up in this drama of redemption,
Wow.
in this cosmic story, and it's really about reconciliation.
Okay.
Reconciling all of creation back to God. And so he talks about this greater Christ,
Okay.
this idea of a Christ that is bigger than we often imagine, a Christ whose influence extends to the furthest reaches of the universe.
Okay, so I'm curious then, how does he support this? Because, I mean, obviously this is a pretty radical idea.
It is.
I mean, even within the context of Christianity, it's
Right.
not, like you said, something you hear every day.
Right.
So where is he getting this from?
Yeah, so he's not just pulling this out of thin air. He's drawing very heavily on scripture, but he's interpreting it through this really expansive lens.
Okay.
So, for example, he talks about the Old Testament idea of God's Sabbath,
Okay.
right? And we often think of the Sabbath as just like a day of rest.
Right. Put your feet up.
Exactly, take a load off. But Moltmann points out that the Sabbath actually points towards this future state where all of creation exists in perfect harmony, not just for humans,
Okay.
but for everything.
So it's not just about us getting a break.
Right.
It's about this like universal
Universal peace, wholeness, this concept of shalom,
shalom.
which is a Hebrew word that really encompasses this idea of peace, wholeness,
Right.
relationship.
Right.
And Moltmann sees Christ as the key to making that happen.
Okay.
He's not just here to save humanity from our sins, but to reconcile all of creation back to God. And that's where this idea of the cosmic Christ really comes into play.
Okay, so we've got this really expansive view of Christ's influence, like extending way beyond just humanity to the entire cosmos. And you were saying before that Moltmann actually critiques some other thinkers.
He does.
You kind of touched on similar ideas.
Yeah, like Teilhard de Chardin
Okay.
and Karl Rahner.
And what's his beef with them?
So it's not that he completely dismisses their work.
Okay.
He sees value in what they're trying to do, right?
So,
They're trying to connect Christ to these broader realities like evolution,
right.
human consciousness.
Okay.
But Moltmann argues that they don't go far enough.
Okay.
They still get caught up in this anthropocentric worldview.
So even though they're talking about cosmic stuff, they're still kind of stuck on us.
Yeah, they're still putting humanity at the center.
It's at the center.
And Moltmann is like, guys, you're thinking too small.
He's like, think bigger.
Think bigger. This is about the entire fabric of the cosmos, not just us within it.
Okay, so how does this then, I mean, this is all very theoretical.
Right.
How does this actually play out in the real world?
So Moltmann connects these ideas to real-world problems, like climate change, species extinction, all these things that we're grappling with. He would say, this is what happens when we forget that we're part of something much bigger than ourselves.
Okay, so it's like, because we've made ourselves the center of the story,
Exactly.
we've kind of lost sight of the bigger picture.
We've lost sight of our place within that bigger picture.
And our responsibility to it.
Exactly.
So for you, I mean, you're really diving deep into Moltmann here.
Yeah.
What are some of the key takeaways? Like, if you had to boil it down to like the aha moments.
Yeah, the aha moments.
What are some of the things that have really stood out to you?
I think one of the biggest ones is this idea of really rethinking our relationship with nature.
Okay.
And it's not just about recycling or using less plastic, although those things are important,
Right.
but it's about recognizing the inherent dignity and value of all creation.
So not just seeing it as something to be like used or exploited.
Exactly. Not just a means to an end,
Right.
but as something that has value in and of itself.
In and of itself.
And for Moltmann, that changes everything.
Okay.
Because if all of creation, from the smallest microorganism to the largest galaxy, is somehow caught up in this story of redemption, then caring for the environment isn't just about being eco-friendly.
Right.
It's about participating in this much larger cosmic drama.
What does that even mean, to participate in a cosmic drama?
It's about recognizing that our actions have consequences.
Okay.
Not just for ourselves or for humanity as a whole,
What
but for the whole of creation.
Oh.
When we pollute the environment, when we exploit natural resources,
Yeah.
we're not just hurting ourselves, we're disrupting the very fabric of God's creation.
So it's like our actions are sending ripples out into the cosmos.
Yes. And on the other hand, when we work for justice, when we fight for equality, when we care for the vulnerable, we're aligning ourselves with this larger cosmic movement towards wholeness and reconciliation. We're playing our part in bringing about the kind of shalom that Moltmann talks about.
So it's almost like we have this opportunity to either contribute to the chaos
Right.
or to contribute to the healing.
Exactly. It's a very both-hand kind of thing.
Wow.
We hold both of those possibilities within us.
And our choices really matter.
Our choices matter tremendously.
That's a pretty powerful thought.
Yeah.
To think that even just like, the smallest actions can actually have these cosmic repercussions.
Absolutely. And, another thing that Moltmann really critiques is this idea that Christian hope is all about escaping this world, about going to heaven when we die.
Right, like this life doesn't really matter.
Yeah, like just get through it, get to the good place.
Right, just grit your teeth and bear it.
Exactly. And Moltmann would say, no, true Christian hope is grounded in the present.
Okay.
It's about working to make this world a better place, right here, right now, because that's how we participate in this larger cosmic process of redemption.
So it's not about leaving this world behind.
Right.
It's about transforming it.
Exactly. It's about bringing heaven to earth. It's about recognizing that the sacred is woven into the fabric of the ordinary.
And that we can be a part of that.
And that we are a part of that, whether we realize it or not.
So where do we even begin? Like, if we buy into this whole cosmic Christology thing, if we're ready to step into this cosmic drama, what do we actually do?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, right?
Right.
It's one thing to have this mind-blowing cosmic perspective, but how do we actually live that out
Right.
in our day-to-day lives? Moltmann, he's not going to give you like a step-by-step guidebook,
Right.
and that's intentional. He wants us to sort of awaken to this sense of awe and responsibility, not just hand us a to-do list, right?
Yeah.
But he does give us some pretty strong clues. Like, remember how we were talking about the Sabbath?
Yeah, as more than just a day off.
Exactly, more than just a day off. For Moltmann, the Sabbath is like this glimpse, this foretaste of that future harmony that he keeps emphasizing. It's a time to sort of step back from our usual routines, from our self-importance, and just contemplate the interconnectedness of it all, to appreciate the inherent goodness of creation,
Okay.
not just its usefulness to us.
So you're saying that even just taking time for quiet reflection, for connecting with nature,
Yes,
that's a step towards embodying this cosmic Christology.
absolutely. It's about shifting our perspective
Go
from
with-
one of domination and consumption to one of gratitude and reverence, recognizing that we're part of something so much bigger than ourselves and then acting accordingly.
Okay, so does that look different for everyone then?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah, depending on your passions, your skills, your place in the world, right?
right.
I mean, for one person, it might mean, dedicating their life to environmental activism.
Okay.
For another, it might mean just being more conscious about the choices that they make,
Right, like what they buy.
Exactly. What they buy, what they eat, how they get around.
Yeah.
For someone else, it might be about engaging in social justice work, fighting for the rights of the marginalized and oppressed.
So there's no one right way to sort of live this out.
I don't think so, no. I
Yeah.
think it's really about finding your own unique way to participate in this story of redemption.
So it's about finding your own part in this cosmic drama that's unfolding.
Exactly. And, Moltmann he wouldn't want us to get bogged down in legalism.
Okay.
He wants us to be inspired, to be energized, to approach the world with a sense of hope and possibility.
Very good.
Because when we grasp this interconnectedness of all things, when we truly get the scope of Christ's work in the world, we realize that our actions, no matter how small they might seem, have cosmic significance.
Wow, that's really something.
It really is, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of overwhelming in a way.
It is.
But also exciting.
It's a lot to take in.
But exciting.
But it is exciting. And you know what I find so compelling about Moltmann is that he doesn't shy away from the hard stuff,
What?
He acknowledges the brokenness of the world, the suffering, the injustice. But he also insists that hope is not naive. It's not about ignoring the darkness, but about confronting it with this belief that things can be different.
Okay.
That creation is moving towards wholeness,
Toward shalom.
towards shalom, and that we can be part of that movement.
So we're not off the hook.
No.
We can't just, like you said, check out.
No, this is not about escapism. It's
Yeah.
about really rolling up our sleeves and getting to work.
It's about being here.
Being here, being present,
Yeah.
engaging with the world as it is, but also with this vision of what it could be.
Wow. Well, you've definitely given us a lot to think about in this deep dive. And it's clear that Moltmann's vision of a cosmic Christ is about so much more than just theology. It's a call to rethink our place in the universe, to recognize that sacredness of all creation, and to live lives of radical hope and action.
It's a pretty tall order, but I think it's one worth striving for.
Definitely something to ponder.
Absolutely.
So until next time, we'll keep exploring these deep theological waters.
Always a journey.
Thanks for joining us.